GM. Good
GM
morning.
friends. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's been a busy week, but excited and doing still a lot more to go. So happy to be on the Superchain as always.
This is, well, first of all, this is the Superchain show. So welcome if this is your first time joining us. But this is also the last week of Onchain Summer. Can you believe it?
I mean, I believe it, but also to me, it was like, sure, let's box off part of our time this year. But there's still like, it doesn't end. Like I'm not done, time to go home and not work on any awesome things. No, I'm just going to carry on into fall and winter, and then back through spring and summer again. Just always Superchain time.
So it's not off-chain fall. That's not what we're going for.
Maybe for some, but no, I'm like, I think I'm heating up with more of the things that I'm trying to cook up, and yeah, it's no slowing down now. It's there's too much fun and excitement and empowerment for all to be had.
I'm feeling like bullish as hell right now on this ecosystem. And, you know, it's like I'm not watching charts. I'm not looking at ETH. I'm not watching to see like financially what's happening in the market. But I am like so unbelievably energized by what we've seen over the last couple of months. I mean, I think participating in Onchain Summer and being a part of the Buildathon has been exhilarating. Going to base camp and being around builders in person was exhilarating. But just seeing now, I feel like we're at this like inflection point where we're starting to see some mass adoption signals.
Yeah.
One of which was Sony, and we're going to get into that in a few moments. Sony announcing that they've joined the Superchain. What's your take on? Well, what's your take on just kind of where we are in this moment right now?
Yeah, I think we talked on this a couple episodes ago, where I feel like the pieces, like it's been a build, right? Like there's this mountain of a different way, and I think there's friction to climbing a mountain. But over time, we've developed tools. So like the first people to go up a mountain walked with like maybe a mule or something like that, and probably froze to death, right? But then it's like, oh, we should probably stop freezing to death. Like someone makes coats, and then like, oh, you know what? People keep falling off this mountain. Maybe we should have something like safety gear. And so we're just continuously to forge these tools in this new way of life. And I feel like we're now at the point where like most people can just start to go up the mountain with the right equipment and whatnot, and some need a guide still. But we're getting to the point where like you can just jump on chain, and there's still some friction. And I think it's more now where people need to see the value. Like what's at the mountaintop that I want to see so bad that I'm going to go on this journey. And some are just like, it sounds fun, let's do it. But I do think that like, now is the time to, and this goes all the way back to like Basecamp, like start building things that people want, start showing people why the friction can actually be removed. Like you can't say like, it's so much better, it solves so many things, but like to get there, you have to cross like an alligator pit, right? Like we've now kind of reduced that friction to get to the place, to get on the chain, as kids are saying. And now it's like giving that value. Like we're here, and now what? And so we're now working on that part. And I think that part is exciting. And just everything that Base is doing, everything that Optimisn is doing, to just make it faster to get to where you want to go or build what you want to build and be the difference that we are able to do in a transparent way. Yeah, it's just never been easier. And so I think that's that snowball excitement of just things are just cooking. And I even said this is unrelated to like Superchain, but like surprise, I'm like a developer and I like to build things and whatnot. And just seeing people even on something like Farcaster say, hey, this new thing that I'm like using is super awesome. And then I'm like, wait, what is this? And I look into it and I learned a new tool, and it's made my life like it's taken me probably 10 hours this week already, and it's only Wednesday. So yeah, it's a, and it feels
share the alpha. Great. What is this magical tool that you?
Well, I mean, it's not for everybody. Cursor is like a code editor with like AI baked in, and so you can just like before it was like ask ChatGPT to like look into why there's a bug or something, and then like take what it spits out and like wait a second, this is broken, like, and work through it, and then finally get to like okay, now where do I integrate that? And so there was I was saving you time, but there was also this like back and forth. Now it's like baked right into the browser, and there's been versions of it before, but this just does it in such a seamless way that, and then the autocomplete, which again, this is like nerdy stuff, but like I'm sitting there typing, I started typing like the name of something, and it just like goes, did you mean this? And like shows the whole CSS, like what it's styling that I was about to type out. I was like, with the colors that are right and everything, like, how do you know this? Like, okay. And so like, it was just like, okay, for my style, I can just hit tab a bunch and just let it write everything for me. And it's not I think you have to know things to be able to know when it's gaslighting you into like a wrong thing and whatnot. But when it saves time and when you're able to kind of like learn how to guide it right, like knowing the tools, it's been like a crazy breath of fresh air, because it's almost like having like a tag team partner that's moving on stuff, and like not like that, and it's just happy to rewrite it, happy to do whatever changes you want. And so I think like that's also coming through for a lot of blockchain development, where the tooling is upgrading, but also like the libraries and things that we can use. Like, hey, it sucks to rewrite the same thing over and over again. Someone makes like a way to connect your wallet, and now everyone can use it. Smart Wallet came out from Base, and like, yeah, it's just getting where things are not only. It's this pivotal point that I called out a couple of years ago, where it's like right now, like designers are just like underappreciated in Web3, and now I think designers are coming in and like making things feel great. You can look at the difference between like MetaMask and Rainbow, for example. Like Rainbow is just so slick, so easy, that like, I feel like that's what you want to lead with when people come in. And again, there's other great wallets, and MetaMask is fun, but just like visually and the way that it feels a whole lot less than what MetaMask used to feel like. And so I think just all these changing of leveling up each other, iron sharpening iron, and just finding solutions that are really cool. Like there's some like on-chain apps that I prefer over the non-on-chain things. And I think that's that turning point and that bullishness. I feel like I've been ranting, but just I'm excited because
I was going to ask.
We're turning that corner, right? So
yeah, I was actually going to ask you what did you learn over this on-chain summer period? Like, what are you coming out of this experience with, either something that's been surprising to you or something that you feel has kind of leveled up your practice as a dev?
It's going to probably come down to like almost like a therapy type answer, but I think it's
let's do it. Let's get cozy.
Learning the discipline of not chasing. There are so much things going on.
Ooh, and so, you know, that's a tough one for me.
I'm neurospicy household here. Like, I think it's like there's the shiny, and then there's the, oh my god, that's so cool what they're building, and like it's cool to use it and to adapt, but like to stay the focus, right? Even like with on-chain summer, like, oh, there's this bounty over here, and there's this bounty over here, and like this is what I wanted to do, but like if I move it a little bit here, I can get this bounty. If I move it a little bit here, but then it starts to turn not into the thing, right? Like, and so I think it's stop, chase your excitement instead of chasing some of the louder things, and start building the things that matter to you, and check to make sure it matters with somebody else, and then you're on the right spot. And like, so you might miss a bounty or a hackathon, or even if you're not a dev, like some kind of like way to make some funds. But if you make something that matters, it's probably going to come to you tenfold if you start building things that matter. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is having the discipline to go, it's cool that that's happening, and that might be great for the person that it's there for, but it's, for right now, it feels so like it's too many steps outside of what I hope to do. And so this is, I need to stay the path. I need to chase like what I'm passionate about and the things that I feel will unlock something for someone, and instead of trying to chase the latest tipping coin or what have you. Like, I think that part is getting exhausted, and I think that it needs to mature, and maybe it is, maybe it's not, but like I don't think that's for me anymore. Like, I would much rather unlock a bunch of people to get the help they need, or unlock empowering an artist that maybe has no technical side outside of, but they're creating such amazing works that seem to inspire folks. And so like helping them get on chain, helping them find their niche, like those kinds of things I think are way more important than dancing for DGen or these other things. Again, DGen's great. Like, I think it empowered a lot, and I think it still can, but giving up the chase, except for the things that are for me, I think has been the biggest thing. Of like, maybe it's discipline or whatnot, but for me, that's been the biggest takeaway. How about you?
Well, for me, I think I agree with you 100% about not chasing the next big shiny thing. And I was actually just reflecting this week about how I had crazy FOMO this year when runes came up, and I really thought about kind of a little bit of a redirect, because a lot of people that I know were just heads down learning and setting up nodes and all kinds of craziness, and I was like, feel like I should be here, but then something's telling me that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't feel like that is contributing to. I think it feels temporary to me. It doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of building like I want to be building. And then I also felt that way when I started hearing about Moxie, and I was out at base camp and everybody was talking about Moxie, and I was like, I just don't quite feel like I want to like be farming. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, because of course it's free magical internet money and that's great, but I feel like by missing that and by not putting my energy to that, I'm not missing out in the grand scheme of things, because
Right.
I focused and heads down on what we're supposed to be building, which right now is health. And you know, as they've kind of basis said throughout this, like, build and you will be rewarded, and we've been rewarded in other ways.
Right.
We're not didn't include farming, so it's all cyclical, and it
But for somebody that farming, or even not even farming, but just participation, may
right,
be the unlock for them. So like,
yes, and
I am
it will
not
for DJ,
unbullish on things just because it's not for me. I'm
of
bullish that it all
course.
exists on chain,
Yep.
and it all is here on base in the super chain. So like,
And none of it is wrong. Like, I'm not
no.
judging any of it, because I got a nice little payout with Degen, as we both did earlier this year, and it was wonderful.
Right.
But was that something that I felt aligned with what I'm trying to do kind of long term? I think that's the piece. That's the struggle, is there's a lot of short term win potential here, and there has been since day one. But are we thinking about building things for short term wins? We're not. We're thinking much more long term.
Yeah, I think that's
hard with all that dopamine around them.
Some things are there as like they're the foreshadowing of the real unlock. I think, right?
Yep.
Like where it's like you were saying, like runes. You were talking about it, and I was like, I glanced at it, and I was like, I just don't feel anything towards it, whether good or bad. And so for me, it wasn't. That's usually like the test for me. It's like the gut reaction. And so but I think that has led to more unique thinking and other things, and even things like base names. I think where people are like, I'm maybe foaming a little bit too much to try and like grab certain names, but it's like I think this family member is going to come on chain, and so I can go, hey, guess what? You're now just this like shorter name. I think that's a cool thing, right? And that in and of itself is cool. But then also like we did participate in on-chain summer, and so having that kind of like stamp of approval, credential on my wallet for I think this is on-chain summer 2 for next year, and then so now I've got this like huge thing. It's like a passport, I think, where if someone's like, hey, I want to work with this person, and they check and they see like all these things that I've done and like my on-chain score and all this other stuff. I think that is another way of kind of adding validity of like maybe who is the better person to work with if you can only choose one, or those kinds of things. So for me, it's pretty cool to see all that, this also coming into place.
And that's a good segue to talk about the Sunnies. The Sunnies are coming up in September. We are going to have Bingy featuring a bunch of stuff that's happening later this week. Can't say too much about that. Don't want to reveal too much. But they partnered with Forbes on the announcement, which came out last week. They have 540 OP up for grabs, and it's going to be very data-based. It's not going to be a popularity contest. They're going to be looking at metrics. Are you excited about this?
Yes. I think that in a way, on-chain has the ability to disrupt many things. And I think sometimes like awards are like, hooray, you won this because a room of 12 people said yes. And so I think this is looking at like everyone can jump in if you've built something, and then looking at like what was the impact, and then rewarding based on that. And again, it might be a big pool split amongst a lot of people, and so it might not be like generational wealth that you'll receive from this, but it's a starting place, and it's a way to say we're happy that you're here and on chain, and also like showcasing things, because even our show, there's things I'm sure weekly that we're missing, and it's not because we think it's not important. It's just there's so much happening. And so this is another way to kind of highlight those folks that have jumped in already, and also be like a milestone marker for others for next year. I'm sure there'll be another one, and let's build upon it. And so it's doing these things, snapshot, like as capturing, and then snapshot turn into snapshot. Yeah, so capturing like this moment that we're at.
Snapshot could be the new could be the new snapshot. No, Snapchat. Snapdrop.
Snapagram. But it's saying like these are the people that were here, right? And these are the things that got made, and some will last, and some will probably mutate into other things, or some may die off. but it's like those sparks that have started to lead to the next and the better and the better and better to keep that momentum going, that energy going. So yeah, I'm super happy for this to exist. I think it's going to, again, financially reward some folks, but also just like recognize hard work across the board. So it's super cool to see.
I love to see as well just acknowledgement and opportunities for non-technical builders as a non-technical builder, and just the recognition. I guess just even the idea that somebody who is not a technical builder is considered a builder in this ecosystem, I think, is quite empowering for folks who maybe have been standing on the sidelines thinking, I'm not a I'm not somebody who can contribute to this ecosystem. I'm not somebody that can come in and build on chain or write smart contracts. But knowing that there is a place for you here, I think is one of my favorite takeaways.
Yeah, I think that is for me. It's like as a dev, like I do have like a front row seat for a lot of this, but then some of the burden is on me not to just build things and extract, but to build things and create value and functionality for non-technical people behind me to be empowered to do more.
Right.
And it's like the taking things of like going into the trees and chopping down like trees to then and replanting, and then you're doing all this like effort so that like a building can exist. But now someone can come in and have that building to write the next great thing or spark ideas that would have never been possible if we couldn't get out of the rain, right? It's building these things that will empower the next. And I'm more excited about like when we talk mass adoption. I want people that have never heard of on-chain, that don't do anything technical, that are like literally like, I drive trucks for a living. And that's not a jab at truck. Like I love truck drivers. But like whether the furthest thing from on-chain that you can be, feeling the value and feeling welcome and contributing their perspective and their ideas, because that's how we win. If it's all the same, then it's all pointless, right? So we have to get everyone on chain as we can. And I think just segueing from that, Farcaster, or excuse me, Warpcast has put out and again, it's not amazing money, but I think they're giving out so many $5 USDC kind of like micro rewards for if you post to Farcaster. And that's not specifically Warpcast. So Warpcast is paying it out, but you could post on any of the clients. Yep. And the most like, and they're taking it not so it's a popularity contest and being thoughtful about that. And I think it'll continue to adjust. But like, if I have a small following, but I get like 100 likes on my content, then that's like way more boosted than someone that gets 100 likes on their content but has like 10,000 followers, right? And so it's weighted by that. And so those top folks, the cast for the day, are getting a $5 reward. So it's almost like just a little tip of the hat. But it's real money given out to people that are just contributing great content that are making people react. And not I don't think it's like a baiting people in thing too, because there is some manual thing for right now, but that's something that could get baked into the protocol.
And let's compare that to the platform of which we don't speak.
The Burb app.
Yes, but so I've been on the app for probably 12 to 13 years, maybe even longer. Mm-hmm. Over the last 3 or 4 years, spent a lot of time on the app and creating content daily, some weekly, sometimes daily Twitter spaces, contributed hundreds of hours, put a lot of content out, never made a single dollar. Okay. Never had engagement probably above like a 20,000, 30,000 engagement. This week, a one sentence tweet or XZ, whatever we're calling it, there was a very soft insult to a political candidate. I'm not telling you which side because we're not going to get political here. Blew up to like 280,000 views, which is insane.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, so a platform that's kind of encouraging vitriol, that's encouraging conflict, and rewarding with engagement that potentially is going to lead to compensation, because if you're on X and you get more than 5 million engagement in a period of 3 months, you can be eligible for ad revenue.
For like $50.
Woo! Woohoo!
Yeah.
50. Or
one of my friends qualified, and that's, I think, after 3 months they made $50. So
right,
you got to grind your way up there for that big bucks.
Exactly. Or you can come to Warpcast. It's not going to feel like Big Ten. It's going to feel like Cozy Corner. You're probably going to feel like you're shouting into the abyss for a little minute. But
I think it depends on your approach. But I think coming in and finding cozy corners for things you care about and then replying and joining in existing conversations, will net you way more success than just coming in and treating it like Twitter. I think that's the mistake a lot of new people come in like, what's up, art people? And like everyone's in like their cozy places, right? You have to go to where the people are. You can't just shout. Otherwise, no one's paying attention to the people that are just shouting. But yeah, I think this is the contrast. I think from that is earlier this year when Degen and Hire and all these other tipping tokens were popping off. Like someone was like, oh, something about a goat, and then everyone just dove on that because it was just like organic thing. And they're like, we're sending this person to Africa to meet this goat. And in 24 hours, they had a plane booked, their whole flight there, a stay, and they ended up staying a little bit longer and like going on this journey, recording like a whole story and bringing that back to Farcaster, right? Like that is so like goat post of silliness about like, oh, it'd be cool if I could go there. Everyone's just like, I got all this free internet money here, and everyone just chipped in a small amount. Some people chipped in some bigger things, but like it was a more of a grand amount of people giving a small amount of money to contribute to a bigger thing. And now we have like an event in our history on Farcaster, and then bringing back that story, and bringing back a video, and bringing back an experience like that got empowered, or insult somebody, and then everyone's like, yay! But then also other people are like, no, and like it's rewarded for like keeping people divided versus like we're having genuine experiences, and everyone's kind of winning by a side effect. For me, I think it's just refreshing and closer in the right step of what I would hope to participate in. So yeah. Sorry, and rant about that. But
no, this is great. I'm actually looking. I was gonna see if we could squeeze in some FUD busting today.
Sure.
But I'm trying to find the post and I can't find it. But there was a little bit of FUD about Farcaster this week by a woman on X, essentially implying, and it could be interpreted in a range of different ways. There was absolutely nuance to the post, but implying that Farcaster is like the bros club and there's not a lot of women. And it had kind of the opposite effect because a lot of women who are very active on Farcaster, Prof. Werder, Ted, Adrian, a few other folks who have pretty significant followings came back and had some commentary about it. And then there was some data that was pulled to show that some of the top performing casters on Farcaster are in fact women. And I think Melissa Burr actually created a post about how there was a very small percentage of women that play professional poker, but since she's been posting her poker games on Farcaster, she has a higher percentage of women. So busting some FUD here about Farcaster being a bros club.
I was going to like all the people that you named, I was going to shout out, and like how some of them had huge followings on Twitter, but I had never known of them until jumping onto Farcaster. And so like, and again, that's your mileage may vary. That might have just been a me thing, but also getting to know some of them, and some of them I don't know, but their content I do know. I'm glad they are there, and I'm glad that the community is. I think it's less of an issue. Unfortunately, it's still an issue at large, but I think it's less of an issue on Farcaster. And that's not to say like it's all puppies and rainbows, like people get into fights and whatnot, but I do think it's more authentic, and people genuinely are there because they want to be, and so usually finding a commonality, or at least an agree to disagree, and not letting it turn into this huge like civil war on the internet. I've yet to see that carry over, and I hope that it doesn't in a way. So yeah.
So I'm not going to share the drama. I'm not going to link to the tweets or anything. But
but I do think that it's I think it's important that like, and again, use whatever platform you want. But I think similar to like Coinbase's video that just came out, and I think it's a really good ad, is like be a part of like something where the creators own it and everyone owns it collectively, or be a part of like where companies make all the money and extract, sell your data, do all these things that you probably are not super cool with, just so that you can hope that you're getting a couple likes or whatever, or like hits of dopamine. So I just think that there's a different way, and it's becoming more and more easy to join the different way. Like sometimes it's you could just do it differently, and you just have to like forge your own path through this like clearing that's not there yet. So yeah, it's cool to see Coinbase continuing to not only face scrutiny and defend itself for the betterment of everybody, hopefully. And again, not saying they're a perfect company, and like it's a company, but at the same time, they're putting out things like this where it doesn't say go buy crypto from us. It's saying here's a different way, and to me, I think that's refreshing.
And just to kind of put a pin in it as well, it wasn't Coinbase that was getting the FUD; it was Farcaster.
Oh, fair. But, yes, I was just parlaying it that Like there can be a different way, and Coinbase's video I think is highlighting that, and I think Farcaster is a better way to do.
I'm going to play this right now, so we can
Sure.
hopefully the sound will play.
Don't sue us for copyright.
Imagine you're a creator, an artist, someone with ideas, and you just had one. Nice. So where can it go? It could go online, where a few big companies make all the rules, take nearly all the profit, change policies on a whim, and then AI can come in to dupe you. Sounds great, right? Well, what if you tried something else? What if you put your idea on chain? On chain, artists get paid in currency, not likes. Audiences own what they buy. And the people who make things make the rules. On chain gives the control back to the creators. Imagine you're
like this a lot. I think this is a really smart, simple campaign. And to follow up, there was a bunch of billboards that Coinbase purchased, which I'm going to try and find right now, where they're running this on-chain is easy messaging. So I think that's what we're going to move into. I don't have any inside information, but I think that's what we're going to move into.
But it just seems that way, like with the smart wallet. Jesse, like we talked about, like it's already seeming like to be cooking on something even better. And so just, like let's make it to where they say there's like a 1 foot fence, like let's make it a 1 inch fence and let people just, hey, try it. Like what have you got to lose? But then seeing like all these success stories that are kind of like growing and growing and growing like a wave. I think it's just a matter of time before it's of course it's on chain kind of thing.
So here's the next one. So remember those 500,000 little liquid death billboards that we purchased? Here's what we're using them for: bringing the world of on-chain creativity to the masses while they shop for groceries. So I guess they purchased the box, right? The ads on the box.
Yep.
Look at that. That's awesome. Really cool.
I feel like I need to go look and get one just for historical sake.
Well, I
don't even know what the flavor is.
I bought a box of Liquid Death last night at Whole Foods because I have my brother and his girlfriend staying with me.
Does it have on-chain vision on it?
I didn't see it, so it must be an old box. But I did get a kick out of. First of all, can we just say that Liquid Death's marketing is so top notch? It's liquid. It's water. Looks like a beer can.
It is flavored water that looks like a beer, though. Yes.
And their slogan is "Murder Your Thirst."
Yes, and then even for I'm a little bit excited about their marketing because I think Arnold Palmer's estate tried to sue them for like having arms. They had a flavor called Armless Palmer, like poking fun of him, but it's literally like it's a drink just named after the legacy, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's clearly a joke, and they're like, you can't do that. We're going to sue you for everything you've got. And so they're like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And then they just changed the name of the drink to Dead Billionaire to like mock Arnold Palmer. Yeah.
Wait a second, Jen. Are you like in earshot where you can grab something for me from the fridge? Can you grab me one from the fridge?
If you have a Dead Billionaire that you bought,
no, I have something.
It will be amazing.
I have something even funnier, I think. Anyway, from Liquid Death. Well, how cool is this? So this is on-chain vision. People are going to be.
Liquid Death also like I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but like even amazing artist Brian Morris did like a box and like so they pay artists to do that. Yeah. I was not able to find it when it got released, but yeah, so it is a cool thing.
All right, in celebration, we are going to have a can of Liquid Death, but
nice.
Can we just talk about the flavor?
What is the flavor?
Convicted melon.
I like that. I've not tried that one, but I like the name.
I haven't tried it either, but just in celebration of
on-chain vision.
On-chain vision, we're going to have a can of Liquid Death.
Yeah.
We're not being paid for this promotion, but let's see.
But you can drink that.
Tastes optimistic. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I like that their stuff is good.
Yeah.
I mostly have it when because we go to concerts a lot. Usually it's at most concert venues, and so I'll pick it up.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I likes it too. Yeah, awesome. All right, so we have talked Farcaster. Let's talk about Sony. This is a biggie.
Yeah. So this week especially OP has been growing, and by that I mean the Superchain. And so there was a number of new chains that are coming. I think the most notable one, though, is Sonium. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. But basically, like Sony Labs decided, like, hey, we're going to keep building things on chain. We want to have our own blockchain. And so we want to kind of like jump in and support. And so Sony literally has their own blockchain on the Superchain. And they'll be giving rewards and things for people coming over, also building things in an open way. And so it's cool to not only see like, I think it's one thing of like, hey, we're this brand and we're making an NFT, buy our thing. And like, it's again, like extracting. This seems, again, we'll see, but this seems to be like, this is a step in the right direction of like actually investing in like the infrastructure and trying to have a platform in which others, like not only can they win, but others can build upon the same situation. So we'll see where it goes, but that is super cool, I think, for someone to come in and they're not necessarily selling. They're building something that is to grow. And so I think it's better to come alongside the culture instead of.
I wanted to share this because it is a little fun. They're playing. Their tagline is "GM going mainstream."
Yes.
So
again, taking the culture, but like also, and it's again, it might turn into like, and now we're gonna sell you stuff, but at least like it seems like it's the right way. And I did not go super deep, but it does seem like it's again tackling into that like creator economy kind of thing and helping bridge that gap between online and on chain.
Yep. So built on the OP stack, they are Sonium is the chain. Startail is essentially like the equivalent to OP Labs, but essentially everything is being built on Sonium. So this, I was chatting with somebody this morning about this moment, and I think it's, if anything, it's a signal, right? It's a signal towards mass adoption. Like you said, we have to wait and see what happens with it. But I think we're going to see over the next couple of weeks some spotlights of folks who are actually building on Sonium. It'll be interesting to see, in terms of the music industry, if we see any major moves there. I think, until we have that moment of 1,000 songs in your pocket, we're not really mainstream.
I have to fight every single day to not build that, but because I think it's just a matter of time for Farcaster plus media player and then platform for artists to have that reestablish the connection between listener and like creator, or viewer and creator, or in like the same could be said for movies and short films and all. Like I think that it's media times Farcaster with like media layers, and so it would be really cool if this is the step towards that. I don't think you necessarily need your own blockchain to do that, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. And there's at least two others. One's Ocean, but instead of a C, it's with a Z. So maybe it's Ozen. I don't know. That's like a DeFi chain. And there was another one that's Polynomial. And sorry if I messed up any of these words. I don't understand words sometimes. And that's more like a specialized blockchain for trading derivatives. And so it's cool, again, to see like all these little niches. And whether it's for you or not, that's up to you. But having all of these things, and then some of the steps they're taking for making it to where you're here and you can just jump into like an encapsulated little tram car and get to like the next thing, and having things more interoperable. I think it's only going to start to unlock this like all of the world's best of kind of situation.
What, as somebody who's a non-tech builder, I still am trying to wrap my head around why, or what the benefit is for us to continue creating independent chains. Like, don't we just dilute till there's no discovery whatsoever, and we're all building in vacuums? Like, we're part of the we're here talking about the Superchain, which is essentially a collective, and there will be, I imagine, some work and some time putting into discovery to try and unite the Superchain. But even just outside of the Superchain ecosystem, we're seeing it again and again, is companies, brands, businesses, even creators now starting their own chains. Where is that inflection point? What is the end goal here? And do we just continue to dilute our building?
So I don't think that dilution is I think it definitely can be where it's like everyone's trying to scream about their blockchain. Instead, I think we have these are like homes or biomes, if you will, of where things can take place. And so streets and neighborhoods can then forge from that of like, oh, we've got the financial district where all these DeFi things live. And it'll get to the point where all of them can win independently because together they cover all the bases, and someone doesn't necessarily need to know what build, or like lots of businesses can live in one building. And so you just go to the building in which the thing that you want to do, like financial things, and then UI can jump between this chain and that chain and let you just do the action you want without worrying about what chain you're interacting with. I do think that all of them having their own tokens and things like that, that's where it gets a little messy. But I think that can also be, eventually that will get to where, oh, you have this, we just need to transfer this to this, approve, and it happens real time right in there. You don't really lose anything, and then you do the action you want to do. So I think it's going to fade away somewhat into like design and doing things that you want, taking the actions rather than having to go somewhere, right? And so I don't think it's going to dilute as long as there's a reason for it. I think questions that some of these places should be asking is like, why not base? Or why not OP mainnet? Or why not Zora? Like if the Sonium thing is just going to be NFTs, why not just use Zora? And as long as there's a reason for that, and I'm not saying that they don't have that, like they very well may have a reason to it, then as long as there's a reason, let them all exist, and then let us all win by default. And some of those specialized niches that we're seeing are using special layers of the superchain that not all of the superchain need to use. So for example, like the derivatives section, or trading thing, they explain, like their very first tweet after like announcing that it's like, why another chain? And they kind of go into like, it's specialized, it has a built-in liquidity layer to make all this stuff happen. And so if there's justification from there, then it just turns into a UI thing where I could build something on base and then have it connect to them, do a thing, and come back, right? Like it's the UI will abstract a lot of the needing to know what is where, and letting the devs just kind of connect all that together easily for you.
We got about 1 minute left, so I just want to do a quick couple of shout outs. So big shout out here to Johnny Mack, showing that Hypersub has earned over $1 million. Creators have earned over $1 million using Hypersub, which has been going for about 10 months. So just a big shout out to them. Also want to just point out the base creators, I think it was, has a new, oh my gosh. All right. Well, I will find it and drop it underneath the video. But basically, there's a new rounds this week for folks who create anything related to the Onchain Summer Store. So if you created a video, a lookbook, or anything that will promote some of the products, and yeah, we have some products in there. We have some Good News swag in there. So extra.
Make a video.
Make a video. Maybe you'll get some degen from us. Maybe. But this was awesome, Brock. Thank you for bringing the big techie brain to the conversation. As always, we appreciate you. And this has been the Superchain Spotlight. Thanks, folks.
Have a great one. Bye.